Hi friends! So The Children's Secret comes out on the 7th of September here in the US. It's available in the UK on Audible and Kindle already, and in Australia, New Zealand and South Africa in paperback. And just to whet your appetites a bit, I thought I would read from the beginning of the book. The beginning is always the most exciting for me to write. Very often when I'm coming up with the idea for a new book, the opening scene will almost kind of download itself entirely into my imagination. I'll get a sort of flash of it, almost like I'm watching the trailer for a movie. And I'll get a really strong sense of the atmosphere, the setting, the tone, and also a really strong hook, something that will pull the reader into the story and make the reader want to read on, which is what writers all want. We just want you to turn the page and to get lost in the story. And so this is the opening of The Children's Secret. The Audible version is available and read by a professional, so I hope that you will have a listen to that. There's also an audio sample if you go online. But here's the beginning read by me. I hope you enjoy it. The prologue. No one sees the girl standing on the edge of the field, hair the colour of wheat, a green dress, legs so pale they disappear against the white sky. The air is heavy with the heat of the day, the sun so low it's blinding. The girl looks at the bounce house lying in the backyard. She watches the magician walking back to his car, his black shoes squeaking with each step. He throws his props into the trunk, unclips his bow tie and wipes the sweat off his forehead. She sees a little boy running between the farmhouse and the stable, trying to keep up with the older children. His face is painted to look like a bear cub. The colours are melting into each other. A red balloon comes loose from his hand and floats into the high branches of a tree. He looks up, his eyes wide. The balloon pops. The boy opens his mouth, a high-pitched, single-toned wail. His older sister, a painted butterfly glittering on her cheek, scoops him up in her arms, dangles him upside down until he's laughing and carries him to the stable. The girl in the green dress knows that she should go back home. She's dizzy from the heat. Her skin is burning. It's not safe, Astrid. That's why I'm not letting you go. But she's tired of being left out, and she's tired of her mum telling her what to do. She looks up at the farmhouse. Through the front window, she sees the mothers. They lounge on chairs and sofas, their bodies cooling as the AC unit whirs. She watches a man, the only father at the party, coming out of the kitchen with a pitcher of iced tea in one hand and a bottle of gin in the other. She looks away from the adults to the stable. No one's watching the kids, she thinks. She walks to the edge of the field. Soon she's standing outside the stable. There's a boy sitting in a tree looking down at her, but she doesn't notice. Her heart's hammering too loud, beating out the same words over and over. You shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be here. But she's come too far to turn back now. She leans in closer to hear what the children are saying. The top of her sandal catches a rusty barrel. It echoes across the valley. She holds her breath, hoping that no one heard, and then slips in through the back door of the stable. On the porch, the mother places her hand above her brow to block out the glare of the sun. She heard a sound coming from the stable, a metal clang, and thought she should come out and check on the children. She scans the front yard, but there's no one. Wiping the sweat from her top lip, she leans her head against one of the posts holding up the porch and sighs. No one had prepared her for this heat. A wave of nausea sweeps over her. She misses home. She turns her gaze to the stable. The children are fine, she thinks. There's nothing to worry about. They're just playing. But it's hard at this age to let go of their hands when their palms are still soft and fleshy from childhood. The screen door opens behind her. Why don't you come and join us inside, the man asks. He gives her a tumbler of iced tea, a little cocktail, he smiles, for surviving the party. She takes the tumbler, even though she won't drink it. The glass feels cool in her hot palm. She looks over again at the stable. The father follows her gaze. Don't worry, he says. My eldest is in charge. She'll keep them in line. He hooks his arm under hers. Come inside, it's cooler. He guides her into the farmhouse where she settles into a chair. A blast of cold air hits her from the AC. She leans back and closes her eyes. Better? The father asks. Yes, better. He sits beside her, takes off his hat and balances it on his knee. "Looks like the kids had fun today," she hears him say, but his voice blends into the chatter from the other parents in the room. Already she's drifting off. Darkness falls behind her eyelids and she sleeps, perhaps for a minute or an hour, she's not sure. The heat, the nausea, the tiredness, they make her lose track of time. But she's sure of this. The cells of her body know, a moment before it happens. Her eyes fly open. She cries out to the room, "No!" And a second later, perhaps less, a gunshot rings out from the stable. So there we are, the opening, setting the scene in the most vivid way I could for The Children's Secret. You can pre-order it through any good bookshop, online or in person. And I can't wait to share the story with you and to hear what you make of it. Thanks for listening. Lots of love. Bye.